Hi, and welcome to Books in Action. My name is Larry Petraccaro.
And he's not the only host of this show,
No.
because my name is Melissa Kopecky, and I'm the library director. Oh, did I interrupt you, Larry? Go right ahead.
Yes, Melissa Kopecky did interrupt me, but yes, we're co-hosting tonight, and we have, luckily tonight as our guests, Matt Smollon, who is the founder and director of the SOMA Film Festival, and is a veteran of film, television, and many other creative endeavors, and he's written over 20 original screenplays. And with Matt tonight is Linda Beck, and Linda is the program director of the SOMA Film Festival, and she's also served as an animation juror at Woodstock, Indie Memphis, and the Dusty Film Festival, and the River Run Film Festival, where she was honored to also be on the advisory board. So that's just a little background about our two guests tonight, and I think what we're going to do is we're going to try to start with just kind of a general understanding of what film festivals are. So why don't, Matt, we'll start with you, just a little idea of what a film festival is, perhaps how long they've been in effect, when this one started, how they've changed.
Well, film festivals have been around forever. I think some go back 60, 70 years. I think Cannes goes back that long. But this one we started 4 years ago. We're very young compared to like Montclair and New Jersey Film Festival and a few others in the state, and obviously across the river in Tribeca. So I guess we're in our infancy or maybe our toddler stage at this point. Basically they're independent film festivals are where you can see independent films that you may not see at other places, you may not have an opportunity to see in a big theater. So we like to cater to people who like films that are a little different, much more independent driven. We also cater heavily to our filmmakers because this may be the one and only opportunity they have to come in and see their film on a big screen with a really good projector with a nice crowd. So that's really in a nutshell what we are and what film festivals differ though on programming all over the board. Some are animated film festivals, some are horror film festivals, some are, whatever, documentary film festivals, but we kind of do everything as long as it's independent driven and is below a certain production budget.
So I'm sorry, but I'm interrupting again. Okay. What are the parameters around which, besides those, that you select? I mean, it's called the SOMA Film Festival. Do you look for local filmmakers, or is that part of the
absolutely. We have
essence of this?
Since its inception, we've had a SOMA locals only block with short films. So that has only been people generally from the Maplewood, South Orange area, but it goes a little bit out into Essex County and wherever. This year we've had such success with submissions from a lot of local filmmakers. We have 4 local programs. So Wednesday night we have 2, Thursday night we have 1, and Sunday we're doing our shorts program. We always end on our shorts program because it's all our friends and neighbors. It's like the last thing to get through, and we're exhausted, but it's so much fun to have everyone there. We always have a really big crowd. We have to get rid of a lot of liquor at that point, and food, and popcorn. So we're very generous on that last program. So we've always catered to, and also our Cinema Ed program, which is a teen youth film program. We have 7 Columbia High School kids in that. So I would say this year we probably have 20 local filmmakers.
We've got 1 feature too.
We have 1 feature. We have 1 feature, which means it's over 60 minutes.
That's a local filmmaker.
A local filmmaker.
Local filmmaker.
Yeah.
So as program director, what are some of those kind of specific responsibilities, Linda, that you would get involved with?
Well, I wear a number of different hats, I think, with the film festival, and a lot of it is, the idea of the program director is I watch most, if not all, of the films, and kind of have some input about what makes it in and where things should play, how we should group them. But Matt does a lot of the heavy lifting, most of the heavy lifting there, but when we get in that programming meeting where we're deciding, what films flow well together, that has a lot to do with it. And I think going back to something Melissa just said about, the SOMA Film Festival being the SOMA Film Festival, aside from the local filmmakers, we also really want to tailor the programming to the interests of this specific community. So we know our neighborhoods better than anybody else, than any, Amazon or Netflix or Hulu. And so we're able to kind of really look at these films, and if two are really close in the voting and we just can't decide, we will kind of open it up, open our minds and think, all right, what will the community really enjoy, and what will really kind of appeal to the cinephiles that we have living right here.
But Linda also came on board initially because she ran our kids program. So she wasn't, unfortunately, she wasn't with us our first year, but she came on board in our second year, and she started and basically programmed an entire kids program, and man, did it do well.
Mm-hmm.
And we did it one time the first year. The next year we did it twice. This year we're doing it twice again, Saturday and Sunday mornings at the Woodland. And it just does great because it's really good films. It's really well done. It's all original content. There's nothing you're going to see on Nickelodeon or Sesame. It's amazing. We have an Academy Award nominee this year. So that's how she came on board. But being as close as we are in the community, her job got bigger and bigger and bigger to the part where it's really almost second in command. So it started with just running a kids program, and she still does that, but now she does a multitude of other things.
So when you're looking for films, you put out a call for films, and then how is that selection process? You said about votes and then about putting the films together. So, and how do you even put out a call? Who does it go to? And, what are the lines of communication? And
Well, there's a site called filmfreeway.com, and it's a submission portal for filmmakers. And you market that through various entities, Facebook and Instagram. And they basically aggregate screenplays and films, and people who want to submit pay a fee. They submit the film, it goes to me, I assign it to somebody to watch, because you can't watch all of them, there's hundreds of them. I do watch the ones that make it to that next level, but really it's just through a site called Film Freeway, and people submit right directly through there.
A lot of
Oh,
filmmakers
nice.
will fill out their information and upload their film and then look for specific film festivals that feel like they'd be a good fit for their films.
Yeah.
So it's already in the system, and then they start looking around and they say, oh, SOMA Film Festival, I used to live in New Jersey, that's perfect. So then they'll submit, that kind of thing. So it's a neat little kind of filmmaker.
matchmaking tool.
Yeah.
And Film Freeway is very good about marketing to specific people. They know who to hit with what film festivals, and we're in a hub here. We're in New Jersey, which is highly populated with creative people, and we have New York City right across the river. You wouldn't know it, but there's a huge film community in New York City. We have a ton of New York filmmakers who come out. We do get the Los Angeles filmmakers now. We've gotten to a level where we get more Los Angeles filmmakers. But, just the creativity in these two communities and the creativity across the river, it's pretty, we get a substantial amount of submissions from just those two areas.
And then we also have we've got a number of international films.
Ton of
In my
international
kids'
films.
block, there are a ton of internationals.
Yeah.
I like to really include a nice variety of different countries, and then we even got some international submissions from our youth film program, Cinema Ed, this year. There's an animated film that's
Belarus?
I was thinking of what was it called? I can't remember the name of it.
But we actually have on Saturday night at 8 o'clock, we have premieres, films that have never been seen in America before. So we're at a nice place where now we're premiering films. An Italian film called Ira, which is amazing. But
The Iranian film I really like.
Lunchtime?
Lunchtime.
yeah, we get a lot of Israeli, Middle Eastern, and European films too.
Do you have to subtitle them, or do they
They
come
do it.
subtitled?
They do it for us.
So it's all done.
It's part of the criteria. You can't.
So if it's going to be in the United States, it has to be
Well, even to screen it as an American film festival, it has to be in English
okay.
or Spanish.
Well, you mentioned, Linda, that you know what's best for the local audience, the Maplewood, South Orange, Essex County area. So Could you share with us a little bit about what are some of the things you look for when you have that kind of distinction to make between films?
Sure. I mean, I'll start with the kids block. That's really my area of expertise, and then maybe I'll turn it over to Matt to talk about the grown-ups. But I know that, the parents that I know and the kids I know in this neighborhood, in these neighborhoods, they tend to want more challenging material. Probably kids in general can handle more challenging material. And I know, Melissa, you know from working in the library that kids surprise you. They don't need the stuff that you think is age appropriate, because your view of being age appropriate is probably not the challenge that they need. So I try to do a mix of live action animation, and I try to do a mix of narrative and slightly more experimental films that will just keep them thinking and just keep them learning to be good patrons, good audience members. And so I try to make it very clear. I never put a film in, well, I try not to put any films in that are longer than 8 minutes for kids. And when there is a film for 8 minutes, beforehand I'll warn them and say, there's one film in here that's 8 minutes long, but I promise you're going to get through it and you'll love it. Just sit still and know that nothing's going to be forever, So if you're not crazy about a film, just hang in there. It'll be over, and then you'll be on to the next one, and it'll be something completely different. And the program itself it's never over an hour. So I want kids to go in there. I want them to behave and learn to be good movie watchers and mind their manners, so that they know when they go into the Ewok Theater in Times Square, they know how to behave. They know how to not annoy the other people that are there, and they know how to get what we're trying to get or communicate to them out of these films. So.
And even in that block, we've started the first 3 years of the Clinton School, the elementary school my daughter goes to, and they do a short stop motion animation film every year. So even that, we bring in a local filmmaker. And then this year we're doing on the Saturday program, you're doing like a special screening because a couple kids, you can talk about it.
Sure. So there was one submission that we got from 2 middle school students. Are they middle? Yeah,
no, I don't think they're
are they still
graders.
elementary?
Yeah.
Elementary school students. They submitted through Film Freeway. It's really charming. We actually happened to know one of the moms, and she didn't just send me the link saying, "Would you put this in the
Two
film
of the girls
festival?"
are on my softball team.
So those 2 girls, they made their own film. They directed it, they shot it, they edited the whole thing,
Yep.
they acted in it, and they submitted it. I mean, so they took the project very seriously and showed professionalism. And so it wasn't really appropriate to put it in with our
It was
adult
in a
locals
gray area.
program.
It was in a gray area.
Because a lot of the programming that we have in the adult locals program is maybe not appropriate for kids, and we wanted to really celebrate these youths. And so we actually have tagged that on as a special screening at the end of the kids block on Saturday, so that all the kids who go to the kids block get to see it, and it's being viewed by their peers rather than viewed by adult filmmakers. And
It's celebrating the attempt.
Yeah.
The effort. And I think, the more you can do that for kids, especially at this age, I would have never thought to do that in 5th grade. I mean, of course, we didn't have iPhones either when I was in 5th grade.
Well,
But-
what age are the kids program targeted at?
my program?
Yes.
So I say anybody above probably age 4.
4, okay.
So 3, you could get away with 3. There's nothing inappropriate, but I don't put a cap on it because I pride
Okay.
myself on choosing films that aren't, yelling or repeating things over and over. Some of the programming you might see on TV. These are independent films that are very well crafted, made by people who have great pride in their independent voice. So all of these films are things that adults can enjoy too.
And we're going to have to take a break, so
Okay.
we'll have to have an independent voice in a couple of minutes. So if you'll stay with us, we'll be back. This is Larry Petraccaro and Melissa Kopecky with Matt Smollon and Linda Beck.
It's an onion.
Hi, we're back with Books in Action. I'm Melissa Kopecky, the director of South Orange Public Library. This is Larry Petraccaro, who actually created this show. And tonight we have wonderful guests, which maybe you were watching just a minute ago. We have Matt Smollon and Linda Beck from the SOMA Film Festival. So I really am trying to get the structure of this in my head. So you have films submitted, you select films. What's the cycle of your year? Like, how many times do a lot of film festivals are huge and run for a week and they happen once a year, and then there are some I know that have an extended thing, maybe with a voting period for films and then extended showing of films over a month or something. How does SOMA Film Festival work?
Well, the principal festival is in March, but we do screenings throughout the year. We try to provide assistance to the town. We did 2 outdoor screenings during the summer, one in DeHart Park and one in Memorial Park. We do 2 free screenings of Linda's kids program at both South Orange and Maplewood Public Libraries. Then we have a 2 nights only program over at the Woodland where we bring in independent films in October and December. And usually if you're seeing a film at the Woodland and it's done well, we're behind it. So we just did the, what do they call it, about for the
It was a
sensory.
sensory.
So they just did a sensory for kids with autism and sensory issues. They did a screening over at the Woodland. They did 2 Muppet films and had pizza, and we helped out with that. So part of our community element is we do a lot of free screenings. We like to stay involved throughout the year. But really the nuts and bolts and all the work, the one-offs are not that tricky. We kind of have that down to a science, but it's the 3, 4, 5 days of the festival that is the biggest undertaking.
And funny that we're taping this in March, and I know Larry's dying to ask you about the March part.
Yeah, what are the dates that we're talking about, just so we can
Well,
let the audience know?
It's March 20th to the 24th. We start Wednesday at 5 at the Woodland, and we go all the way till Sunday the 24th till about 9 o'clock, and like I said earlier, we end on the locals only shorts program.
We actually have a special screening, though, on Tuesday with Seton Hall, where
Yes.
we're showing some silent films with live orchestras.
Yes.
So at the Seton Hall, on the Seton Hall campus.
Are these silent films from a long time ago? Okay.
And is it the Seton Hall students providing the music?
It's not. It's a famous orchestra called, one
The
of them
Alloy-
is, the Alloy Orchestra. Alloy Orchestra.
Alloy,
It's
Alloy.
really hard to say.
It really is.
Alloy.
Alloy
Orchestra.
I thought it was Alloy.
They're a heavy metal band?
It's a trio of guys, and they come in and they they interpret the silent film through music.
Really?
That's a
very
free
cool.
event. It's up at Seton Hall. Seton Hall is a great partner of ours. They have a program at the film festival, so we have a Seton Hall program on Sundays at 3. This Sunday, next Sunday at 3, whatever this airs, I don't know. So they asked us for the help in promoting this and getting the news out there. So it's held up at their Jubilee Hall right on campus. They're really
Okay.
trying to. Seton Hall and South Orange don't have the most fluid relationship, so they're always looking for opportunities to bring people from town onto the campus. We are there all the time. We love it, and we go to sporting events up there, like girls softball's free, and it's fantastic. So, this was just the first year we're trying to really do something on campus for them.
Okay.
And it's opened the opened the door for a lot of other opportunities. For example, I'm involved with the Environmental Commission, and we're doing a River Day cleanup. And the Seton Hall Choral Department is now going to be, I think, standing in the river and doing an a cappella choral piece.
Really?
Oh, isn't that wonderful?
Acapella.
Yeah, aquapella.
There you go.
But,
hilarious.
They never run out of funny names for acapella. The Tone Rangers.
well, but before we get into the films, we were speaking before we started, and Linda, you were looking at some of these notes that I had jotted down about things we might talk about, and one of them had to do with whether or not you have to be in person at a film festival or you can just watch it on the computer. And you had, I thought, a pretty interesting comment. Do you want to just amplify that?
Sure. I mean, a lot of films are available on Amazon or Netflix. It's rare when films at our film festival are available on a platform like that. They don't necessarily have distribution yet, and that's one of the reasons filmmakers submit to a film festival, so they can get eyes on it and so they can have distributors give them options as to...
Distributor is someone who gets a film out to a bigger audience through either theater or video on demand or DVD or blah, blah, blah.
Yep. So, the things that you're seeing at the film festival aren't going to be readily available to you on the platforms you're normally hitting as far as entertainment goes. But then on a larger level, what we really want is for people to come in, see each other, and be, a part of the community, discussing films, talking about new ideas, talking about ideas that they had in the past that maybe never came to fruition, and then, this person actually has a camera they can use, and this person's really good with audio. We really want to bring out both the future filmmakers or the filmmakers who haven't yet made something they're really proud of, or just the people who really feel like they want to talk about film. And when you're watching something on Netflix, it's great. It's great to be able to watch it in the comfort of your home, but you're not getting that extra level of engagement with, the discussion part of it. So that's what I think is really special. And to go back to what we were saying earlier about knowing the SOMA audience, you learn more and more about what the audience wants and what the audience interests are, when you have the audience there in person and you can hear them laughing and you can, see their response to a film. And we occasionally have filmmakers come in and the filmmakers get to see that too, and they get to engage with those audience members and with our community. I kind of cut you off before or didn't give you an opportunity to talk about the SOMA audience in particular.
It's also, we do have filmmakers come in. Like, the people get to meet the filmmaker, if you come from our background, meeting a filmmaker or an actor is not that big a deal.
Uh-huh.
And you forget you live in a world where 95 to 97% of people, it is a big deal.
Yeah.
I remember at our first year, we had a film called Haze, and it was just a very good film, and it later got distribution. But I remember a friend of mine had come to the screening, and I remember him hanging out afterwards and kept talking to the filmmaker. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, stop it. Come on, man. Let's go. I want to get out of here. He's like, I don't get to meet filmmakers. Mm-hmm. He goes, and I really loved his film, and I wanted to talk to him. And I thought to myself, stop being a jerk, Matt. Like, this is a big deal to a lot of people. Let them enjoy it. It's probably like meeting an author or meeting, an illustrator. To us, it's standard, but to most people, it's not. So we try to bring as many filmmakers in as possible to talk to the audience, to have a Q&A afterwards, and it really heightens the experience. Because you can really talk to the person who made the film.
Yeah, I guess you could.
It's still not a novelty to me. I mean, we had a film called Art and Craft as one of our one-offs. It's a wonderful documentary, and we had the filmmakers come in, and I was a fangirl.
She's gonna be a
Yay.
big fan. She's gonna be a really big fangirl on Thursday, the 21st at the film festival, because Frank Oz, the filmmaker and actor, we're not supposed to call him a voiceover artist, actor who was one of the original cast members of The Muppet Show, is bringing his film in called Muppet Guys Talking, and he's coming for a Q&A afterwards.
Okay.
And Linda is beside herself.
Well, right now she's beside you. But,
Yes.
So
we only have.
wait a minute, if you
I'm sorry.
don't have a filmmaker coming, do you still try to create the place for people to talk
Absolutely. If they want to talk after.
That's
we-
the wine and stuff.
Yeah, like
and
we,
popcorn.
years past we've had it a little tight in the scheduling, and this year because we got the extra days on the front end with Wednesday and Thursday, we definitely left room for people to really sit and hang out after. We don't want to push people out. We want people to come in and have conversations. All the time people are coming up to me. I'm like, oh my God, I saw what was that movie we had last year? Wild Ginger on Showtime last night. And I'm like, oh wow, it's got distribution. That's great. So they feel like they're on the inside because I saw this movie before it was ever even on Showtime.
I've heard that so many times.
So many times.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's people really love that.
Well, why don't you tell us some of the films that are going to be on? We've only got a few minutes left.
Sure.
It's been such an interesting conversation, but we ought to give you a chance to highlight some of what's going to be there and why they were picked and maybe what criteria you go through to decide.
Okay. Well, like I said, Muppet Guys Talking is there on Thursday, the 21st. with Frank Oz, and that was really just a gift from a professor up at Seton Hall who was a friend of his, friend of his wife's, and he agreed to come out. He was just down at South by Southwest, but he didn't have the movie. He was talking about filmmaking. Linda put together this social this social thing for Facebook on what the programmers and the people working for it are really looking forward to. We've seen all the films, so what we like to see is how people are going to respond to it. So I'm going to be very interested to see how people respond to a film Linda and I both loved, Pet Names, which is an indie film out of, I think, a Milwaukee filmmaker, and it's just a tight little independent film about a girl who we think, I won't give away too much,
don't give
who
away.
we think is suffering from something, but then we realize it's suffering from something completely different. But it's really well made, it's well acted, it's well written. I think our audience is going to love it. And I love the film Sea Change. That's going to be Saturday at 5 o'clock, and that is a story of a couple, an African couple who left from Morocco to go to New York City in a rowboat and took 8 GoPro cameras and just taped the whole thing. And it's amazing. It's beautifully shot, and I don't know who edited it, but somebody sat down and did a lot of editing on it. So those are the 2 films I'm excited for people to see. Because, we're not always right. Some of the films we love, they go, eh. And the film that just squeaked by, they all love. So those are the 2 films I'm excited to see and see what people think. But I'm excited to see all the films, and I'm excited to bring them to the audience.
And how about you, Linda? Do you have any particular ones that you're
Well,
interested in?
I'm looking forward to Brave Girls,
Yeah.
which is a documentary about 3 Indian women who take a non-traditional path in life. So,
Indian from
India.
India.
From
okay.
India, yep. Really looking forward to that, and I think that's a classic example of something that this community will really like to be able to talk about. And it's a cerebral film, but with a great human experience and a great kind
Women's
of emotional
rights.
string. It's got the women's rights aspect, and then there's
the producer's a big friend of the festival, so she'll be out. So
which, yes, it will have a Q&A with her.
Yeah.
And then there's this short film in my kids program called Strawberries Will Save the World that is just about this. She's just this beautiful filmmaker, and she just collects strawberry memorabilia, just little figurines, patterns, fabrics and things like that. And it is just, I watched the thing, and afterwards I almost burst into tears. I felt such joy and delight. So I'm really looking forward to people seeing Strawberries Will Save the World, because maybe they will.
it's amazing what works. There was a film we have in it called Traffic Separating Device.
That
it's
is-
a short film. It's 16 minutes long, and all it is in Stockholm they were having a problem with people going down the truck lane. So a car's going down the truck lane. We have the commuter lanes here in our
Yes,
buses.
yes.
No, it was the bus lane. It was the bus
Yeah.
lane. So they put in a device that if you didn't have the wheel expansion of a bus, your car would go. Your car basically goes into a ditch. And all it is they set up a camera and shot all these people getting stuck and people making fun of them.
Because people set up chairs to watch. So it's entertainment in Stockholm. They all just sit around, they bring their coffee, and they're like, all right, let's watch the show. And they decided to film these people's responses. It is hilarious.
That's Thursday before the Frank Oz film. It's a great little film.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's great. You have a mix of just every kind of.
Oh yes.
Well, they may get stuck in Stockholm, but I think we're going to be stuck here. We're going to have to call it a show.
All right.
So thank you both for coming, and thank you, Melissa, for interrupting, and thank you for joining us on Books in Action.